Hello and welcome back. This is Jim Hayland and here to talk about the responsiveness or responsive view of the simulation. So we're getting ready to start the second simulation, and know you all probably looking forward to this, I'm sure. I know I am. And the second simulation is built upon the first, and the purpose of this discussion is just briefly give you an overview, give you some ideas, hopefully get you started in the right direction. The instructions are posted in Blackboard, and as you know, on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. it'll be available, but it turns out it's already available. My friends at Lake Forest Graduate School of Management have made things ready a bit early, and I posted an announcement as a result. And so I wanted to record this video and let you know what's going on, give you a brief overview. So once you log in, you'll see the same environment. Your same ID and password will work. If you look at the picture, everything looks the same. You still have your customer orders on the left, still have your material from your suppliers, your three different queues in front of your stations, and then your completed jobs. Now, what's different? Well, let's talk about this. So, your order queue, that's the thing over here, all the way on the left. Your order queue will display the number of new orders arriving by day, the number of orders waiting for kits, in other words, waiting for raw material, and then the current pricing contract. Now, the top one and the second one were the same as last time. The only difference is here, in this version of the simulation, you get to control your material. So how much is coming in, when you order it, and how often you order it, and how much is ordered each time. So clearly, if you don't order enough, you can run out of material. So then you would see orders waiting for material. So I'll give you a feel for how effective your inventory management process is. And then the pricing contract for arriving orders. So you can change the lot size and you can change the pricing contract inside this window. So the pricing contract says, and we've talked about this a little before, the shorter the cycle time that you commit to, the more money you'll make. However, if you don't make it, you don't get any money. So that's a risk that you can take based on your understanding and belief in your systems. The materials buffer, that's on the top left, tells you how many kits you have, the number of kits waiting while all those machines in the station are busy. Reorder point and order quantity. In other words, very simply, we saw in the first simulation, your material volumes would drop as the material was being used by the factory. And then all of a sudden it would shoot back up. When it drops, when it gets below a certain point, an order is placed on your vendor to supply the raw material. That's pretty straightforward. And then when that material arrives, your inventory goes back up once you receive that material. Well, a couple things to remind yourself of. Number one is there is a finite amount of time from when you place the order to when you receive the items. And that's in the instructions. So if you order at a certain point, well, your factory's still using material, so that line is going to keep going down even though you've ordered until that order is received. So this gives you an idea of what's going on, and I mentioned in the video the concept of, for the slide video for the week, you've got the concept of reorder point and reorder quantity. Reorder point is how much inventory is in stock when an order is placed, what triggers an order being placed. And then reorder quantity is how much do you order, how many items do you order to fill your warehouse. Now in your stations here, guess what? Number of stations, scheduling policy, that's that first in, first out thing for station 2. Utilization, number of orders completed, by contract, and lead time. So what's going on here is within your machines, so everything above this line, as far as your stations, hasn't really changed. So you can buy machines, you can sell machines, and you can adjust the prioritization going into station 2. Again, that's that first in, first out concept. Nothing's changed. Now, the only thing that has changed is completed jobs. You have the same output, so you can see the number of orders completed by day, the average lead time, again, how much from the time the order is received to the item going out the door, and then the revenue. Well, you'll notice here it says by pricing contract on all three. And what that means is you have different pricing contracts that you can select at the beginning when you're taking your customer orders. So it'll tell you by contract how many orders were completed. So if you have some on contract 1 coming through, those will show up as a different entry than those coming through under contract 2, which will be different than those under contract 3. So the whole idea is you can see the impact of which contract you're selecting in the beginning. So to summarize, you can change number of machines, buy them, sell them, just like you could last time. You could change that prioritization going into station 2, just like last time. The difference is, this time, you can change your material going in and coming in for your warehouse based on your reorder point and reorder quantity, and you can also change your contract with your customers. So it gives you a few opportunities. Again, what are you going to do? These are the changes. What metrics? So again, I want to emphasize, and you saw this the first time, but it's all about numbers. How are you going to, what formula, what process are you going to use to determine what decisions you're going to make? How do you know when it's time to buy a machine? How do you know when it's time to sell a machine? How do you know when it's time to change the priority going into station 2? How do you know where to set your reorder quantities and your reorder point? And how do you know which contract to choose? What mathematical, quantitative methods are you going to use to make those decisions? That's what I'll be looking for in the final analysis of your results. Again, inbound orders will vary. This is no different than the scenario we talked about before. One thing to be conscious of, though, is this looks the same as the first time. Things may or may not act the same way. What does that mean? Basically, the order volumes coming in, that inbound order volume, you saw it was kind of a up and down graph. It wasn't a straight line by any means. That's going to be similar, but it's not going to be the same graph. So if you're thinking that I'm going to use the same forecast from last time, that would be a mistake. You need to set new forecasts and redecide, what you're going to do. How the machines and stations respond may be different. What does that mean? Well, maybe a certain machine in one of the stations is going to make 3 widgets an hour. Maybe that's what you figured out last time. May not be the same this time. So I almost always have students come to me and say later, well, I expected this to happen. Why? Well, the first time, it's like, so? That's got nothing to do with the second time. Like I said, the image looks the same, the overall simulation looks the same, but how things are going to react is going to vary. And just like the first time, you're going to get to see the first 50 days. You can start doing your forecasts and analyzing how you think machines are performing, what you think your throughput is, etc., etc., etc. Now's the time to start figuring these things out. So, again, tomorrow morning everything will be available. Well, like I said, it's available now. And then 6 p.m. on Tuesday, I'll flip the switch, and then you'll be able to do changes. So until then, everything is frozen at 50 days. So you're going to be stuck with 50 days. So you'll have 50 days worth of data. You can go and look through do your analysis, do your forecast, what have you. And then on Tuesday at 6 p.m., starting at that point, you'll be able to make changes. Make updates, buy machines, sell machines, whatever. One thing you'll notice this time, though, is you're starting off with not as much money. So I think I mentioned to you before, everything is going to be a little bit more difficult, if for no other reason you have more options. And as last time, I'm going to be running the do nothing factory, and I promise I will do nothing. I will not change anything. I will do nothing. And again, the do nothing factory kind of acts as a baseline, so you can assess how you're doing. So that's basically it for right now. Good luck to you. Again, the simulation is available now. It will be available for change on Tuesday evening. And as always, let me know if you have any questions, and I wish you all the best of luck.